about it. I just hit my binky, and then everybody hears it. Okay, we are live on YouTube. We made it. All the things.
All right, I'll give you the feedback.
Radio app.
Just search World Cup.
And don't miss the U.S. men's team's first match Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
The world will be listening.
How about you?
The games are over, so there's only one thing left to do. Overreact. The NFL Draft Nerd is here to weave through the world of sports and separate fact from fiction. Get involved. The call-in line's open at 864-240-5480. You can tweet us, we don't call it X, at the NFL Draft Nerd. Now, here's that creed-loving, bird-fearing, football lunatic, Jeremy Greene.
Oh, it's a Monday in the upstate of South Carolina. That means it's time for Overtime, brought to you by our friends at Ingles Markets. Find them online, ingles-markets.com. And give to all the things they do. This week, we're doing a milk drive. Not every kid has access to the nutrition they need during the summer. I will be out at a couple of our Ingles stores over the course of the week. Check our social medias at The Sportsocracy for the schedule on that. Trey, according to Trey, we didn't even wait. The call-in line's open before I even gave the number. That's always a good sign. Somebody wants to either yell at me about something or they are burning on something. So we're going to go straight to that line. The number is 864-240-5480. Caller, who is this?
Hey, guys, this is Soren Eagle.
Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
I'm good. So last week, on the Daily Show, if you're unfamiliar with what's going on, Trey, Tank and Jeremy were doing these NFL Talk Me Into It.
Oh, okay.
But right before Myles Garrett ended up getting traded to the Rams, completely disrupted that. I've got one about San Francisco that I don't think anybody's really mentioned yet.
Oh, I'm excited because I'm off on an island all by myself. I'm Tom Hanks in Castaway on the San Francisco 49ers.
So my Talk Me Into It for the 49ers, that secondary is going to be one of the 5 worst in NFL history. So there are a couple things to that.
Okay, go ahead.
So first of all, have you? Like, I checked the depth chart on ESPN. I get it that at this point in the offseason we're just kind of spitballing on like where everybody's going to be playing, like who's going to be starting for who at every kind of position, all that. But on ESPN right now, their number one corner is Diamador Lenore. Renardo Green's on the other side of him. Upton Stout's the nickel guy. And your safeties are Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa. If you didn't tell me that was like an NFL lineup, I would have thought that's the starting secondary for, I don't know, Chapel of the Holy Cross.
You're not wrong.
That's a... And
so
then
one of the things I've said one of the things I've said on San Francisco for a long time is I did not know what the term exsanguination meant until John Lynch became the GM of the San Francisco 49ers. If you don't know, that's where you poke somebody and they literally bleed to death because you never heal the wound. That's been John Lynch as the GM of the San Francisco 49ers.
I've got another part of it. There's another part of that. Have you seen the receivers that the San Francisco 49ers play this year?
I have.
Because I'm going to list it out right now. I'm just going to go by just the number ones. So your division is pure evil. You have 2 games with Jackson Smith and Jigba, 2 games with Puka Nacua, 2 games with Marvin Harrison Jr. That's 4 against the 2 best receivers in the league and 2 against a guy who still has potential to be in the top 5.
Agreed.
Then you go outside the division. Yeah, I'll give you the layup with the Dolphins, and I'll give you the layup with the Raiders. Outside of that, in order, is as follows. Jalen Waddle, Terry McLaurin, Drake London, CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens, depending on how you view that receiver room in Dallas. Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, who's going to be back to full health, and he has a quarterback. Lan McConkey, Rashee Rice, and Devontae Smith. Woof. Like,
it's about as bad as it could line up.
The worst receiver in that bunch, I think, is Lan McConkey, and he will look like prime Jerry Rice against that secondary. It's not pretty.
It's not good, and San Francisco is just one of those teams that I'm stuck on. It's San Francisco and the Buffalo Bills. I'm not sure where this blind faith is coming in of these teams that never really seem to cross the threshold. They're always playoff teams. They're always contenders, but they never, even when they got to the Super Bowl, they were such a dog against Kansas City that you didn't feel like they really had a shot to win it, even though it was close. This year, for some reason, those are two of the teams that Vegas is the most bought into, and I absolutely cannot figure it out.
That makes sense there.
It's a tough one for me. Soaring Eagle, we appreciate the call, as always. And it's just that simple. If you want to get involved with us, you just call the call-in line, 864-240-5480, or hit the text line, 864-777-9593. If you just want to get your opinion out there, you can always do that. Trey, today was a big day.
Oh, was it? What happened?
Do you have any sad music? And you don't have to cue this up in the next 5 seconds, but I need some sad music, something ominous, maybe something that would play around a funeral home or agree on anything. I can't get them to agree on what weight the ball should be. I can't get them to agree on if we should be allowed to paint individual yard markers like a couple teams are doing. These are arguments that I've had in the last 12 months. I have gotten universal agreement that today is the day we will all look at and go, the NCAA is dead.
Yeah.
Brandon Sorsby. Yeah. You remember? You remember that conversation we had of he's going to end up in the supplemental draft because there's not a judge on this planet that is stupid enough to come back with a ruling that would say he could come back to school.
I learned a lot in that conversation. Yeah.
Well, I learned a lot today because apparently there is a judge that is that stupid and is completely out of his mind. And he has I don't know if he meant to, but I can tell you this much. The man that killed the NCAA is Circuit Court Judge Ken Curry. I don't know if you have read this decree. So what has happened is Ken Curry came down today, filed an injunction on behalf of Brandon Sorsby. Now, before I say this, I need to tell you, I made some calls in between shows today. So between 3 and 7, the old phone was lit up pretty good.
Yeah, the hotline, yeah.
And I got told pretty consistently, don't act like this is over yet, because it ain't over yet. Because they can still appeal this higher, and they will. Yeah. Ken Curry comes down with a decision. I don't know. And Trey, you're a good fella. You're a guy I like a lot, and I'm going to wager you haven't been in a ton of trouble with the law, but
you'd be right.
I don't know how many judicial decrees you've ever seen. They don't tend to be 3 pages long.
Ooh.
This one was. It was 3 pages long. It gave absolutely no rationale whatsoever. And when I say no rationale, I mean, I've literally seen traffic court judgments that were longer than this. It comes down, and I'll read the high water marks here.
Okay. All right.
He said that Mr. Sorsby will suffer probable, imminent, and irreparable injury if he's unable to play for the Red Raiders in 2026. And he chastised the NCAA for prohibiting Sorsby from practicing or playing this fall. Okay, let's unpack that. We're going to treat this like a birthday present. We're going to take the scissors out. We're going to cut the bow. We're going to slice the wrapping paper. We're going to open
you
up
do it
what we have
neatly.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, 100. Yeah, I'm one of those. I'm a lunatic.
That's not me.
I've got OCD. I can't be the guy that just rips the paper
Gotta
off
text
and throws it into a ball. So Brandon Sorsby, and I really feel like I need to clarify this. He was not declared ineligible because he bet on sports.
Okay.
That would have made him ineligible, but that's not what got him. He was not declared ineligible because he bet on college football. He was not made ineligible because he bet on his own team. He did that one thing that you're never, ever, 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 I think that was the right number of evers, allowed to do, which is not only did you bet on your team, you bet against your team.
Yeah.
And this is why he was at Indiana. He did it twice. He had over 40 bets involving a team that he was on. And somebody will say, but he was a redshirt. Don't care. Did he see practice? Because he knows things that he's not supposed to know.
Yep.
That's why we don't allow this. Because even though he's a redshirt, does he have friends on the team? Can he tell other people, hey, I've made a big wager. Would you like 50% of it?
Right.
Yes. He had the ability to do every one of those things. Every single ruling in the history of sports, I checked, has gone against a guy that has done this. All of them. Batting 1,000% going into today. And Judge Ken Curry decided, you know what? I know better than every person that's ever been in sports that this is fine. And because Brandon Sorsby has a disease, a gambling disease. By the way, I've thought about calling every member of my family and saying, I told you it's a disease. I got it. All those times that, you had to bail me out and pay my mortgage.
Sick.
I was sick. And you treated me like I was a degenerate. Oh, wait. Because that's the only thing that makes sense.
Right.
We've gotten to a point in this country where we call everything a disease. Not everything is a disease. I am one of the biggest gamblers you'll ever meet in your life. I live in a state where it's legal. I do it all the time.
Right.
I enjoy it. It makes the games more fun for me to watch. That's just me being honest. I have to watch every game because I cover every team in the NFL. I cover every team in college football. I cover players that go into the draft from every team. Sometimes I need something that helps me watch the game. Because frankly, for every Tulane Ole Miss game I've ever seen, probably 70% of them have been absolute snorefests. I have never once said that I have a disease of any kind. And you know what? I'll fight this one till my dying breath. You can call it that if you want to. That's up to you. The fact he sought treatment for this, good for the kid. It doesn't change what you did. It doesn't change what you did and the fact that this was hammered in your head from the first time you were ever handed a helmet when you were 5 years old. You were told there are certain things you cannot do. There is no getting out of it. There's no but.
Right.
There's no talk me into it, as Soaring
Them's
Eagle
the
said
rules.
on our first call. The rule is the rule. And this has been the rule in sports for over 100 years. You go back to Shoeless Joe Jackson. This has been the rule. And here's my question to Judge Ken Curry in his infinite honorableness, or whatever you call judges. I don't know. I've never been in front of one. Except for 2 dissolutions of marriage that I was really so scared they were going to say, no, you must stay married, that I didn't pay enough attention. I don't know what you think you did here. And he can take whatever treatment. He can go into any program. He can say anything to you that he wants. You didn't see the forest for the trees. And it's sad to me that one of the people that has had to say the quiet part out loud was TCU head coach Sonny Dykes, who told ESPN earlier today, how is anyone ever going to trust the outcome of a game again? And Sonny, you and I have disagreed on a lot of things over the years. You know what we don't disagree on? This. Because you're right. Because what this judge has just done is he made a decree that said, I cannot enforce the most basic of rules on the NCAA. This is just the periphery level. There's another level to this that I'm going to get to in a second that is terrifying. You took a rule that has never been in question. Not one time, not one person has ever brought up, hey, I can beat this. I did it, you got me, but I can beat you. It's never been done. every guy that has ever fought this, all the way back to Art Schleister, has argued that they didn't do it. Brandon Sorsby never argued that he didn't do it. He told you he did it. Point blank, said it. Said, yep, I did it. Went down a rabbit hole saying it was a disease, sought some treatment, and basically made a sitting court judge a complete moron. And I'm being as nice here as I can be because I want to be way worse than what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
As somebody that makes my living in college sports, in college athletics, leading into the NFL, you have just put into question every kooky madookie on the planet that thinks these things are fixed. You just gave them a leg up in confirming that they're right. Because here's the problem. I can't confirm that you're not. That's the thing about gambling. It's the reason that it's always been kept away from the sport. And people will say, but you have deals with DraftKings, you have deals with FanDuel, you have casinos on the sidelines of... Yep. That's because the athletic institution needs to find some way to pay the players because we did this 6 years ago and there has not been one ruling that's gone the NCAA's way since. So yes, in a sport that needs every dollar that it can find because it is an absolute race to the bottom to see who can spend the most to create an athletic roster that can compete for national titles, yes, they took money from gambling. That doesn't mean you can do it. That doesn't mean I'm okay, and now because I've got a DraftKings sponsorship on my wall, that all the things I've ever said just don't matter anymore. I told you from the jump, you can't do this. And a federal judge just said the NCAA can't enforce that. And that leads me to the scarier part. Is there one thing you can tangibly tell me that a kid could do that a judge will not unwind based on this ruling today? You got one thing because this to me was the holy grail. I got a bunch of people on social media. You can follow us at the Sportsocracy on all the social medias. A lot of people said, how did you not know this was coming? And I said, I don't know because I have common sense. Because common sense says this is the stupidest in the history of the United States of America. This is one of the dumbest judicial decrees I've ever seen. Because you basically just told every athlete, everyone that's ever been declared academically ineligible, appeal it.
Yep.
Every kid that's ever been told that, well, you transferred twice, you play at Michigan, and now you want to play at Michigan State. Well, that deadline's passed. Appeal it.
Because there's a judge out there.
Yep.
Yep.
All you got to find is a judge, and apparently Ken Curry is the one. If you can get to Lubbock, Texas, it's the Wild Wild West, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Everything in the sport just got put into question. And I'm sure people will say, it sounds like you're making a mountain out of a molehill. No, I'm not. And here's the thing. I want to love this because I'll be really honest with you. Texas Tech is a national title contender. They will be as long as we have the NIL age as we have right now because they have limitless funds. They have money that 95% of FBS college schools couldn't imagine of touching. So they'll be a competitor every year. And they were going to go into the season without a quarterback. Now they have one. I'm doing a documentary called Year of the Quarterback. This just gave me a 19th quarterback. For all intents and purposes, nobody should be happier about this right now than me, and I'm appalled by it. I'm completely appalled by it because now every single lawyer, every ambulance chaser, every slip and fall, every lawyer that has a law degree from Greenville, South Carolina to the Bay of Fundy has a reason to look into the NCAA and say, I can beat you. And what's sad, I'm to the point that I don't think you're wrong. I think you will beat them. I think you will beat them every single time you come up against them. Because the NCAA is too incompetent to provide the most basic of all defenses. Mm-hmm. Because defending this was simple. What is the number one thing that athletics can never lose? Integrity. You can never lose the integrity of the fan, of the mother, of the whoever that is watching this sport. You can never lose the integrity that what happens on the field is because both teams gave it their all and tried to win a game. People will bring up tanking and the fact that I'm an anti-tanking guy. Yep, that's all built into the lines, every bit of it. Now, there is no discipline to someone that takes away the integrity of your game. And when you do that, you don't have a game anymore. You want me to prove that to you? The NBA. The NBA had a gambling scandal at the beginning of this year.
Yep.
Oh, but
I
the
remember.
television number. What about the television number? Okay. You know what else the NBA had this year? A 40% decline in wagered income. The first drop in fantasy basketball in 20 years. Both of those things are stats that apply to the NBA right now. And the NBA Finals, which tip off here in about an hour, I think the game will be great. I think Madison Square Garden will be electric. I'll check in on it. I'm not locked in on it for one very simple reason. There was a big probe into the NBA that basically not the games themselves were fixed, but that prop lines and things like that were manipulated to the benefit of gamblers. You stole the integrity of the game. I don't believe in you. I don't believe you're policing this. I don't think you're doing anything to stop this, and it makes me not enjoy your game. If I wanted to watch prefab fixed athletic competition, I would watch the WWE. Because frankly, it's more entertaining at times than the NBA. And this is the same thing that could happen to college football. And it sounds doom and gloom. It sounds like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but I'm not. Because I've seen this before. I've seen it happen. It happened to Major League Baseball after Pete Rose. Gambling was not universally legal. Handle went down. And people will say, but what does that matter that handle goes down? Why do you think the NFL is so popular? Why do you think college football is so popular? If your team's bad, there are a lot of ways to get involved in the sport. And when you take one of those away, which you did today, you took the integrity of that away. Doesn't mean everybody will stop doing it, but I think to a higher degree than anybody wants to admit, you're going to see less of it in the next 24 months. Because what happens? Kid gets busted shaving points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just happened at one of the schools in Alabama. I can't remember what school it was. Alabama State, maybe? 4 kids on the team were shaving points. Guess what this did? They can appeal.
Yep.
And if we're going by case law, they should win. Because one infraction in the eyes of the NCAA is actually not worse than the other. And that is terrifying. We have a couple of text messages on the text lines. First one's from Antonio, who said Texas Tech having a billionaire booster surely helps. Some favors were done. And Antonio, we appreciate the text message. I'll go one step further. Usually I would say, no, we're not that corrupt. I can't this time. I can't this time because the judge didn't give me anything to stand on that makes any sense. You said irreparable harm would be done to a kid who would go to the NFL, be a second, third round draft pick in the supplemental draft, and start his pro career. That's not irreparable harm. There is irreparable harm that are done to people by judges and the judicial system. This ain't one of them. And so, Antonio, I'd love to tell you you're wrong, but I can't. And I'll go one step further. The fact that you did this in Lubbock opened the door to this. I'll tell you a fun story about the judge. Guess what school he went to?
Was it Texas Tech?
It was not. It was Texas.
Oh, well.
One of the
there you go.
biggest rivals of Texas Tech. In fairness, that should have made this guy impartial the other way. But the fact that he gave me absolutely nothing to stand on, okay. When people say this is fixed, when people say this is the judicial system again at its finest, and money buys all, I can't tell you you're wrong. And that's the unfortunate part about this. That's the unfortunate part about this. Because now this kid who would have just gone to the NFL, I've had a bunch of people ask me, would it have hurt his draft stock? It certainly wouldn't have helped, but I don't think it would have tanked it.
Right. I mean, there's worse in the NFL.
He would have been selected, from what I'm told, in the third round of the supplemental draft. A team would have taken a shot on him as a franchise quarterback. Now, this kid is going to have this hang over him forever because NFL teams are going to see how teams on the road react to him.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe me, go back and watch other guys that have been convicted of, at times, very large crimes, at times, very minuscule crimes, and see how opposing fans treat them. Red Sea hit us on the text line as well, said, thank God Sorsby didn't go to the NBA because he'd be wrapped up in the whole Chauncey Billups case quick. That's the scary part. We still don't even know the depths that the NBA case went to. And we just had a federal judge that's established case law. There's nothing you can do about it. At least not in college sports. I'll bet you they find a way to do it in pro sports. Guess that's because having a governing body that actually has some teeth would help. NCAA, I'm looking at you. This is Overtime, brought to you by Ingles Markets. He's Trey Falco. I'm at the NFL Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene. Get in touch with us on the call-in line, 864-240-5480, or shoot us a text, 864-777-9593. We're brought to you by our friends at Ingles Markets. As always, everybody eats, so check them out today at one of their local locations here in the upstate of South Carolina, Ingles-Markets.com. Ingles Markets, low prices, love the savings. We'll be back after this commercial break on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate. We got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of goings on around the NFL. Brandon Ayuk, he just can't stop talking. Just stop speaking until a team tells you they want you to play for them, because I'm not positive that that's going to happen anytime soon. We'll be back right after this commercial break.
We all try to live an active lifestyle, but sometimes our bodies take a hit. Injuries and pain shouldn't keep you from living your life at its fullest. That's why Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates, called KONA, offer orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, and pain management, all under one roof. Dr. Keith Schiff tells us more about proper pain management.
We can't fix everything that's wrong with the body, so chronic pain is a very real issue for a number of people that limits their quality of life and their enjoyment of life. Coming to a pain clinic like ours that has board-certified pain management physicians who have had all the credentialing done, we can offer options that a primary care specialist isn't trained to do, the same way that I'm not trained to do everything that they do. Patients realize that they're not alone. There are literally millions of people every day living in chronic, debilitating pain, and those are the kind of patients that we want to see and the kind of patients that we want to help.
Never let chronic pain get in your way of an active lifestyle. Learn more at CarolinaONA.com. Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates, KONA. Total quality care under one roof. CarolinaONA.com.
Good things come in fours. Like ukulele strings, boy band members, and PayPal Pay in 4. No fees, no interest, no impact on your credit score. Just the flexibility to pay the way that works for you. Strum it, hum it, pay it in 4. Download the PayPal app to get started. Subject to approval. Learn more at paypal.com/payin4. PayPal Inc. NMLS 910457.
How long I got, Trey?
Warmer weather is here.
Got about a minute and a half.
Perfect. I got to open my door before I die.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's about
air's off up here,
1,000
too.
degrees in here. My office is the hottest room in my house. It's actually attached to the sunroom, and holy Lord, it gets hot in here.
Plus, you got all that equipment in there?
People you can trust. McGee Heating and Air online at McGeeHVAC.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train.
When you're at work, you never know when you'll be interrupted. But with the Dell Pro, powered by Intel Core Ultra with vPro, no matter what distracts you, your laptop won't. It's battery optimized for the way you work with built-in intelligence that quiets distractions when you need to focus. Your laptop will help keep you locked in, even when it's bring your dog to work day. Built for those who stay in the flow. The Dell Pro.
It's like chest up, isn't it? The camera shot?
Oh, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, just take your pants off.
I've already taken my shoes off, so I'm walking around here like you.
Oh, well, you got to air them out sometimes.
For sure. Bill Workman said, I'm so thankful that my office is the coolest room in my house. This one is in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah. See, there's
the
perks
winter,
there.
It's glorious.
Selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Trey Falco, I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Overtime, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Find them on Ingles-Markets.com. Trey, this might be the most important question that I ask all day. And I've wondered this forever, and I think if anybody knows the answer, it might be you.
Okay.
What the hell is Santeria?
You know what? That's actually a great question. I've wondered the same thing.
I've heard that song no less than 1,000 times. I have no idea what it means. None. And I've never thought to look it up until...
Way of the Saints.
It's the weight of...
Spanish. Way. No, not the weight. The way. The way of the Saints.
The way of
Spanish.
the Saints. Indeed. Okay, then. Bill Workman said Santeria is a religion. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I had no clue.
Afro-Caribbean religion.
Alrighty then. I had no clue. That's one of those songs that and there have been a few of those in my life that you hear the words and you go, I don't know what that means. And I don't care.
I know that song. That's about it. You sing along. Yeah.
I'm just going to keep singing it like I know what it means. But I don't. Our buddy FedEx Phil hit us in the YouTube chat. He said, you need something with Heath Schuler on it in your office in South Carolina. If I'm not mistaken, he was taken 3rd overall, held out. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe 3rd's right. It was either 3rd or 5th. I never can remember which one. So ironically enough, I know Heath Schuler. He actually lives in the mountains of North Carolina. He was a congressman in North Carolina. He went to Smoky Mountain High School, or is it Smoky Mountain or Mountain Heritage? Up here. And I've come to know him in my adult life. So Trey, we have started the build out of my new office.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're putting NFL draft. We're gonna have an NFL draft bus graveyard in my office.
Okay, all right.
In the last week, I have procured miniature helmets.
Nice.
Of Andre Ware, Rashawn Salam, Johnny Manziel, Matt Leinart.
Okay, all right.
I got a signed Ryan Leaf football.
Okay.
Which a guy literally told me I thought I was going to die with this thing in my possession because I didn't think anybody would ever buy it. But I did. I also got a football from the Senior Bowl in 2012. It's the worst NFL draft class of all time. The names, I had to look up the names, and I've been doing this for like a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Because I kept looking at the numbers going, it's going to hit me. When I see it, I'm going to remember. And a lovely guy sent that one my way. So we are trying to find all of the things NFL draft bus style that we can flood my office with. We've had a good week, and I'm excited to report to you next week what else we've added. I also got this has nothing to do with an NFL draft bus, but it is something that I'm pretty happy about. A guy found me on social media and said, I found a Nick Mangold miniature Jets helmet. I'm going to send it your way.
Okay.
Nick Mangold was one of the coolest guys I've ever met. He passed away a little under a year ago.
Yeah.
Former center of the New York Jets. Just an awesome guy. But I have a rule. I refuse to ask friends for signatures. I have one signature of a friend of mine, and it was Luke Combs. I hired him to work in my bar. He came and did an acoustic set in my bar, and I made him sign the receipt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I knew he had signed a record deal in Nashville, and I was like, you know what, this guy's really good. So maybe, and I do still have that. I have the receipt of him. I paid him, I think it's $500, and I still have that. Nice. Other than that, I don't want to be that guy that's like, hey, would you sign this piece of paper for me that said I one time met you?
With how many people you know and all the degrees that you know these people, you'd be asking a lot of people.
Yes, and I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I want to be the, hey, look, we took a picture one time at Splash Mountain.
That's good enough.
I went to Disney World with, I'm not going to say who that was because that story does not need to be told on this show.
Oh, okay.
But if you ever catch me out in a bar, ask me about who I went to Disney World with. It's a great story. He's Trey Falco. I'm Jeremy Greene. We're talking all things sports, and we want to hear from you. We have got a lot planned for tonight, but we always willing to take a right turn with your questions, whether it be in the YouTube chat, through the text line, 864-777-9593, or via a phone call, 864-240-5480. Trey, your best soundbite, please, sir.
Oh, just best over. Well, I know which one you like. Hold on, let me find it.
I want me some glory hole.
That's a great one. That is a legendary
classic.
one. Red Sea said, anyone else remember when Jeremy said the NCAA will die in the next 3 to 5 years once the announcement that college athletes would be paid came down? I do.
You got a caller?
Then several others said that they were eating the member berries that they remember as well. Look, I've been wrong about a lot of things in my life. This was never one of them. Because as soon as you opened the door, you started trusting the judicial system. Mm-hmm. And when you trust judges, bad things transpire because they call it law practice for a reason. Because there's no hard and fast rules here. And apparently, based on today, even when there are rules, certain judges just look at it and go, I don't care. I don't want to do that.
It don't matter.
Here is 3 pages of 3-ply toilet paper with ink on them. You go read those. Won't that be fun? I believe we have a caller on the line. Caller, who's this?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, we had a caller on the line. Caller, if you'd
Must
like to
Brandon
call us
Sorsby.
back. It could have been Brandon Sorsby or that judge.
Yeah.
I think Kenny Murray might have just called in and said, I want to defend myself, but I can't because I do believe he is correct. Just doesn't make any sense. The ruling didn't make any sense. I don't think anybody's going to tell me anything that makes it make sense.
Well, I don't know how you make sense out of it.
It's just insanity.
Yeah.
It's insanity, and it's the world we've come to live in college football. And that's unfortunate because I love college football. I love it. And now we're here. Robert in our YouTube chat asked, can Ohio State get its 12 wins and Sugar Bowl back now? The NCAA is a joke now. I asked that earlier. Like, how far do we have to go back for this judge's stipulation to be, hey, wait, could I get a little money back? Maybe get some wins, a couple trophies?
Maybe.
You've opened the door to this. You've opened the door, and I can't tell you how long that it's going to take to close it. It's terrifying. It is physically terrifying for me. Philip corrected me on YouTube. He went to high school with Heath Schuler. He went to Swain. I knew Smoky Mountain and Mountain Heritage didn't sound right. I knew it was one of those, but I had it wrong. They are friends as well. Heath's a great guy. He is indeed a great guy. He won 3 straight state championships in a row. And I couldn't even get one. Came close, but never got one. Myself, kind of like Baker Mayfield. Baker gets close. I'm the franchise guy. But nobody seems to want to give him the full. He's the bridesmaid. He just never gets the ring. We got to take another commercial break. I ran over a little bit in the last one, so we're going to catch up here to get back on track. But after the break, we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield and why this one's not hate from me. I actually think Baker Mayfield has no place to land. I'll tell you why. After this commercial break, he's Trey Falco. I'm Jeremy Greene. We'll be back on 104.9 FM, Fox Sports Upstate.
104.9 Fox Sports Upstate Weather.
This is WIFF News 4 Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice with your forecast. Look for better rain chances going into the overnight hours and through Tuesday. It won't be a complete washout, but not your typical time frame either. There could be some morning rain and afternoon rain. It won't be a washout for everybody. A high near 80. As we go into Wednesday, more afternoon thunderstorm type variety, mid-80s, and then we're climbing close to 90 by Thursday and Friday. In fact, Friday could be in the low to mid-90s with afternoon thunderstorms.
This report is sponsored.
Said what?
Oh, I said 10-4, and then I realized I only heard it once, not twice, and went, nope, mic's muted, so he didn't hear that.
Oh, gotcha. What is it? Are you feeding back down to yourself?
There's a hint of a delay in mine, so if the mic is within like 10 seconds of me turning the mic off, I can still hear it, but I don't have a talk back on this board, which is what it's supposed to do.
Gotcha,
so I can hear myself, but I can't fully hear it.
I just want to make sure I wasn't feeding you back down to yourself.
No, you're good.
Okay.
No, this board is possessed by the devil.
You know, I kind of picked up on that. Is that the same board you used last week?
Yes. So I have another one, and I cannot find it. I think Tank has it. I think I sent it with him, and I keep forgetting to ask him about it. I'm probably just going to buy another one.
That's fair.
At this point, I'm strewn across 2 states and 3 offices, so having more of things is not a problem.
Well, yeah, I was about to say you're always on the move.
I don't stop moving a lot, and it gets a little annoying.
Hey, I've learned that.
it gets a little annoying.
Well, when you're old and wrinkly, you'll be able to settle down.
It's got to hit the benchmarks, Trey. It's got
to. Well, that's what they're there for.
Oh, you knew I was going to do that at some point today.
Hell yeah. Anyways, you got 2 minutes on this break.
Let's go.
/predictions promo.
This summer, we are throwing the biggest patriotic party of the year. July 18th, Harley-Davidson in Greenville becomes the home of the Celebrate America concert. And the lineup is stacked. Country superstar Brantley Gilbert headlines the night.
Responding to the Sorsby
Joined by the powerhouse energy of...
No, I hadn't. What did he say?
I thought he was going to cry.
Really?
And I love Josh Pate. I thought he was going to cry. I mean, he was irate. And I don't blame him.
Oh, yeah, no, I get it.
Oh, NFL Draft Yoda. He did point out I got 4 offices in 3 states. You forgot the Mullet Beach House. I did.
That's right, yeah.
I forgot the coastal mullet manure. I'm going to be coming to you live from Palm Beach in about 2 weeks.
You'll be there for a while, right?
I'm there for a month, and if anybody calls me, I reserve the right to yell at them.
I like that. That's a good rule.
I'm going to change my voicemail to, if this is really important, you can call me right back. Just know you're going to get a vulgar, potentially drunk answer.
You just set it to the voicemail from the Grinch.
Yeah.
I'll hunt you down and gut you like a fish.
Bingo. Everybody in Asheville has been walking around me with on pins and needles. I'm like, I don't know if I should do this.
Not today. You can try me again in a month.
Hey, today was great.
Oh, was it? Good.
I didn't talk to a soul. We had Tank, Christiana, and me in the studio. We had just a grand old time, and then we all went home.
Oh, nice. That's always a good day.
It was a good day.
Same.
It was a good day.
I got 15 seconds.
10-4.
Statewide primaries will take place June 9th. Check your voter registration, find your polling place, learn about the candidates. And remember, the statewide primaries are June 9th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Learn more at scvotes.gov.
All right, where my set list at?
I didn't mean to pick
2005! Make believe!
I got the full drum bring in.
Only the best for you.
Was that Beverly Hills?
Yeah, it is.
I do like that song.
Mostly, I should have picked the correct version.
It's easy to do. Look, we switched over operating systems. It's a little bit tougher than it used to be.
Not me yet. We're still on the old one.
Oh, are we?
We switched this week. Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay.
We switched Thursday, I think.
That explains why they didn't feel the urge to tell me how to do anything too quickly.
Right.
We're like, well, you got to know, but the next time you're here, I'm headed on vacation, and it's a working vacation, but it's I'll be doing shows from Florida for a month, and nobody seems to really want to tell me anything new. Like whatever we tell him right now, he's not going to remember.
Yeah,
he'll come back, and we're going to have to tell him again.
It's all right. I'll get you up to speed. It's not hard.
I like it. I love it when things are not difficult. I am not a difficult kind of guy. And speaking of not difficult, it's not difficult to get in touch with the show. Call in lines 864-240-5480 or just with a text at 864-777-9593. And that's what our guy Jerry from North Carolina did. He's talking about Brandon Ayuk. He said, in regard to Ayuk, I don't believe this guy is crazy. For what it's worth, neither do I. Hopefully he shows up to training camp for the 49ers to force a release. Ayuk seems dead set on proving the 49ers challenged front office wrong. What are your thoughts? Look, I think Brandon Ayuk is I think he's an immature kid.
Yeah.
That has been put in a disadvantageous situation by San Francisco. Look, I've held this against San Francisco way more than I've held it against Brandon Ayuk. I also think Ayuk believes that he has more leverage than he does. Because, look, until the games start, San Francisco doesn't benefit from releasing him in any way. That's what he did when he had all of the things go sideways last year.
Oh, yeah.
Do I think that makes him a bad guy? No, I don't. I think he'll be I've long said I think he's going to end up as the number 2 receiver with the Washington Commanders. Played at Arizona State with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're very close friends. He posted a picture of I think he was in Commanders gear. Robert Johnson.
Oh,
I'm not sure if that's the picture that you're referring to, but that was the last one I saw. So if it's not, correct me. Ayuk's been a productive player in the NFL. I think San Francisco did him somewhat dirty.
Yeah.
I don't think he helped it in any discernible way. And it's one of those situations where you're throwing bad money at bad.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love his deal when he signed it. I didn't necessarily think that 1,300-yard year was who he was, but I think the 1,000-yard year is who he is. And on the opposite side of Terry McLaurin, I think he'll be a really good number 2 receiver.
Yeah, plus they need it.
I also know this is where it's headed, so I don't know why at some point we can't get – look, judges are just declaring stuff today, so maybe we can call a judge. Make John Lynch release Brandon Ayuk just so we can stop having to talk about it until he actually sees a field again. I don't dislike the kid. I think he made some bad decisions. I also kind of understand why he made bad decisions. Your career is in large part being hijacked and held hostage by the GM of the team that you play for.
Yeah.
That's one of those that I don't think I've ever said those words in that order before, but I have with Brandon Ayuk. Speaking of hijacking your career, Baker Mayfield, we're down the rabbit hole on a new deal for Baker, but Baker swears we're not really all that close to the Buccaneers are not anywhere close to what we're thinking in terms of a long-term deal for Baker. I'm here to tell you, I don't think that's going to change. Baker Mayfield may be the one guy that is absolutely burned by when his contract comes up. So the deal runs through this year. He is signed through this year for $33.33 million. 16th in the league in terms of quarterback pay. I maintain he is roughly the 16th best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he'll ever be any better than that. I don't think he has ever been any better than that. You can give me whatever stats you want. As you watch it play out on the field, Baker Mayfield is a league average NFL quarterback. And so now I ask this question. Heading into almost unequivocally the best quarterback draft we've ever seen, where does that land? Name me a team in the NFL that needs a quarterback that will not be in position to draft one who has a higher upside than Baker Mayfield for significantly cheaper.
That's a good question.
Looking across the league, every team I see that needs a quarterback is pretty bad. There is one spot that makes sense to me, and you would have to do it on a tremendous discount. And it's the Los Angeles Rams. If the Rams win a Super Bowl this year, and Matthew Stafford decides he wants to run off into the sunset, but Sean McVay and Les Snead and Myles Garrett and Devontae Adams, all those guys decide, I'm not done yet. And everybody comes back but Matthew Stafford. I see a landing spot for Baker in L.A.
Sure.
He was there for one season, had a couple good games, including one where he had only been in the building for 3 days, barely knew the playbook, and still was pretty productive on a Thursday night football. That's the one I see. Nobody else makes sense. Nobody. The Indianapolis Colts, are we really going to pay prime money to Baker Mayfield? I mean, I get it. They don't have a first-round pick. It goes to the Jets.
Right.
I apologize. I can't say that without a little bit of glee. I guess I could see that, but how bad would Daniel Jones have to be?
I was going to say, you still got Danny Dimes there.
Guaranteed money's very light.
Yeah.
So if Daniel Jones just crashed into the rocks, he could potentially hijack a boatload of money from another team. I don't think that's likely. I think Daniel Jones will be fine, if not spectacular, which is basically the same way I describe Baker Mayfield. Cleveland Browns, they're not good at quarterback. They're going to be in a position to take one. Might not be the one they want. And I don't believe a reunion with Baker's ever happening. New York Jets, no way. Miami Dolphins, no way. You just keep going up and down the list. The other one that makes plenty of sense is Kevin Stefanski with the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh.
A year from now, that team as good as it is, Baker Mayfield would make all the sense in the world. The only problem is you two have urinated in each other's Cheerios for so long that I don't think you could get along enough to even come to the negotiating table. And that's why you don't do things like that. Baker Mayfield is the living embodiment of treating the NFL completely the wrong way for an entire career. I've never really understood the fixation that some fans have with him. He's not a real big guy, doesn't have a huge arm. He's just competitive, and he's spunky, and he's a fighter. And I think a lot of people see themselves in Baker Mayfield. They weren't the biggest, they weren't the fastest, they weren't the strongest. But this is a kid that has swagger, and he barks at defenders, and he barks at coaches, and he just has that fire. That fire's fine when you're a star. When you're not a star, it's annoying. When you're not a star, it's irksome. And other players on your own teams don't always love it. Guys don't always line up to play with guys like that. And I think Baker's going to find that out the hard way. Not necessarily because he deserves to, but because the league is set up that way. Being from the North Carolina market, obviously still being in the Carolinas, Cam Newton found that out the hard way. There are certain guys that are not wired to be backups. They think they're stars, whether they are or not. And those guys don't tend to get a lot of opportunities unless it's as a starter. Cam Newton has argued for years that he was one of the 32 best quarterbacks on the planet. I disagree vehemently. Now, what I don't disagree with, you're one of the 64 best quarterbacks on the planet.
1 minute.
But where Cam Newton died on the vine in terms of the NFL is that no team would bring him in to back up a starter.
Right.
Because a percentage of the fan base is going to think Cam Newton is something that he's not. Mm-hmm. And that's still that MVP player from 2015. Tim Tebow had this happen. A lot of other guys have had this happen. And I think Baker Mayfield is going to be the next in a long line. Because if I'm Tampa Bay, if things crater out this year,
30 seconds,
and we finish third or fourth in the NFC South, I'm good. I'm good. I'll find myself a young quarterback with a young-ish roster that's still good and I think can still compete for division titles. But I need a long-term solution at quarterback, and I'm not sure that Baker Mayfield is it. He's Trey Falco. I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Overtime, brought to you by Ingles Markets. We got one more hour here on a Monday. Join us on the other side, 104.9 FM, Fox Sports Upstate.
When your child needs an ENT procedure like ear tube placement, tonsil removal, or nasal treatment, you want answers, not delays. Surgery Center at Pelham offers quicker access to expert care for chronic infections, breathing issues, and more. Why wait months when your child could be scheduled this week? Trust the Surgery Center at Pelham, because when it comes to your child's health, the sooner the better. Call the Surgery Center at Pelham today. High quality treatment with transparent pricing is a click away at surgerycenteratpelham.com.
Warmer weather is here, and the hotter days of summer are right around the corner. Now's the time to stay comfortable with a new train system. Call McGee Heating and Air. Speak to a real person. Limited time.
You got a text
from
Red Sea when you come back.
$1,800 off a qualifying train system. McGee Heating and Air, your train comfort specialist, provides comfort you can count on, people you can trust. McGee Heating and Air online at McGeeHVAC.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can.
Is it the phone or you?
My phone has shown me no less than 20 videos in reels or shorts or of just spaghetti. I don't know.
I think
why.
we called out the algorithm.
I've never clicked on a video of spaghetti that I know of. I mean, look.
Doesn't matter. It knows.
Tequila is a hell of a drug, but I don't think I've been clicking on spaghetti videos.
Yeah, only spaghetti is kind of weird.
It's just spaghetti, and it literally doesn't even show the recipe. So, I mean, now I've clicked on
it's
4 or 5
spaghetti.
of them. Now I've clicked on 4 or 5 of them. Like, okay, what have I done to the algorithm? Or does my phone just know I'm fat and I miss pasta a lot?
I mean, they're reading minds nowadays, I guess.
I would drink meat sauce with no pasta. I would drink
But you won't eat peanut butter.
Oh, no, I love peanut butter. I don't like
Or no, you won't eat peanut butter and jelly. Sorry.
I don't like the combination.
Right.
I love peanut butter. I love jelly. I don't like them together. I'm weird. I'm simple. Like, I'm the most simple person in the world.
Right.
One of the reasons I got so fat is that a very common dinner for me, if I got home late and Amy was already in bed, was a peanut butter sandwich.
That's fair. I respect it.
3 pounds of peanut butter on it.
That's a lot of peanut butter.
You know you're in bad shape when you're pulling out the spatula to put the peanut butter on the bread. Yeah, I need something with a little retention to it.
It's the only way to do it. It's a big ass piece of bread, though.
I don't miss bread all that much, but I would really like one peanut butter sandwich right now. And then I'd be fine for another 2 months.
Yeah. Get some of that protein powder peanut butter. You mix it with some water.
What I need to do is get to the beach. As soon as I get to the beach, none of the rest of this matters because I'll eat seafood for a month.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
I don't eat seafood if I'm not close to the body of water it came out of.
I can respect that. I don't eat seafood at all.
Really?
Oh,
I love seafood.
Nope, no thanks.
My wife cracking crab legs is one of the most strangely erotic things you'll ever see in your life. There's no
That was a sentence you just made.
I say it all the time. And nobody understands it until they see her do it, and they're like, there is no wasted motion there. Nothing. Every muscle that flinches on that woman is steering towards getting meat out of crab leg.
That's called efficiency.
It is insane to watch. We're in Pawleys Island, and the waitress came over and watched her. She works in a seafood restaurant.
Really?
Yes. She's like, I've never seen anybody do this fast.
Okay, now I kind of got to see it.
She can crack crab legs for 4 people sitting at a table and do it for all of them faster than any 3 people I've ever seen could do it racing against her.
That's insane. Did she grow up eating a bunch of crab legs, or
she's from Florida?
Is that an acquired skill?
She's from Florida, so she's been eating crab legs her whole life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It is wild to watch. Santa asked if she gets the little knuckles. If there's meat in that thing, she gets it out. And I'll tell you how I know that, because when she's done with it, she blows into it to like show, look, I left nothing. And it makes a weird little sound like a kazoo.
Like a little conch shell.
The first time she ever did that was we'd been together about a month. And we went to the beach with my parents for a couple days. And I watched her do that, and I went, yep, she's the one. That's it. There's no turning back. We are here.
That's a selling point.
100%. You watch a woman you look at a woman that looks like that can go through a crab leg like that. Cue the band and play the fight song. It's over.
Like I said, I'm a simple man.
I am a simple man. I'm not going to lie to you. I looked at her that first night like, Anna, where's Ron? I'm going to need to watch you do that again.
So please tell me you went all-you-can-eat crab legs on your honeymoon.
We have actually still to this day not taken a honeymoon.
Oh, okay, never mind.
We take a big vacation every year. So like last year we went to Tybee Island for 2 weeks.
Oh, so it's a bunch of little honeymoons.
I have to get away from sports. And
I can see that.
I always do it right after all the things are over, and it's that deadest of dead time. Because her birthday's on July 4th.
Oh, happy birthday.
How long we got?
54 seconds.
Let's go. Yeah, for her birthday, she asked for the same thing every year. I want to see fireworks. And I found out that they have a really good fireworks display at Mar-a-Lago that we've never seen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we're going to stay on West Palm.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You can actually see the fireworks from our house, so we can just sit on that. There's a balcony on top of the house, which I've never seen in Florida before.
On top of that,
yeah, there's like a sun
roof
porch on top of the house, which that's like a Carolina coast thing.
Sure, yeah.
And I found this house. I was like, yep, that's the one.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And I only had to sell one of my diseased kidneys to pay for it.
Hey, that's what it takes. At least you got the other one.
Bingo.
God gave you two for a reason.
Michael Bolton did a song about that. When a man loves a woman.
The games are over, so there's only one thing left to do: overreact. The NFL Draft Nerd is here to weave through the world of sports and separate fact from fiction. Get involved. The call-in line's open at 864-240-5480. You can tweet us, we don't call it X, at the NFL Draft Nerd. Now, here's that creed-loving, bird-fearing, football lunatic, Jeremy Greene.
Hour 2 on a Monday night. You're in overtime with me at the NFL Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene. He's Trey Falco. We're talking all your sports takes, all the things you want to talk about. All you got to do is get involved with us, and you steer the show. You can call in 864-240-5480 or with a text 864-777-9593. Or you can comment in our chat. You can find us on YouTube right now on our at the Sportsocracy, if you want to see what I look like, and it's exactly what you would think. I am a giant ginger leprechaun, and my face is currently the same shade as a red Crayola crayon. I played a decent amount of golf over the weekend. I don't do sunscreen. This is a stupid thing about me. Unless I'm at the beach and I know I could die. Like if I'm just out in public wearing a shirt,
right?
Not doing it.
You don't get like a sun shirt? You can do a sun shirt.
I do that at the beach.
Oh, okay.
Just the thought of like I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put on sunscreen that's odd to me. And maybe that's a guy thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a guy thing. I don't think about it either.
I mean, look, I'm a pasty dude. I know.
Yeah.
The sun and I are not friends. If you ever played Mario when you were a kid and you saw the angry sun that was trying to squish Mario on the pavement, that's what the sun does to me every time I go outside. But I'm not living my life coated in 30 SPF. It's just not going to happen. We have a text on the text lines from our buddy Red C, who said, in other news, despite showing up today, Jacoby Brissett still plans on getting starter money from the Arizona Cardinals, which I unfortunately think there is less than zero chance we give him because this team makes no sense. Jacoby Brissett's holdout. And we celebrated the ending of it earlier, only for me to find out, well, it's not actually over. It's just becoming a hold in instead of a hold out.
Right.
Because if I hold in, you can't find me. I'm just not doing anything. If I hold out, then you can find me $100,000 a day, and Jacoby Brissett only makes about $4.8 million.
Right. Don't like that.
Doesn't give me a whole lot of latitude. They'll just wait me out. So he is reporting to camp. Look, Jacoby Brissett's another one of those. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. There are plenty of times in NFL history that he would have been a starting level quarterback in the NFL. And for this year, he is again. I don't think there is a huge amount of difference between him and Gardner Minshew. I think you're going to see the same record from the Arizona Cardinals regardless. And I think the more time he spends away from the team, the more likely it is that they're going to figure that out.
Yeah.
They also have a young guy in Carson Beck that at some point you're going to see on a field this year. I don't know how many of the rookie quarterbacks you see in the year of 2025 or 2026, excuse me. It's the first time I've done that in a while. I don't know how many of these guys you see because, look, this was not a good quarterback class. You had Fernando Mendoza at 1. You're going to see him quick. I can't tell you it'll be week 1. I think it will be. But even if it's not going to last long. Ty Simpson, if you see him at all this year, something went horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. Carson Beck, if he makes it to mid-season before being on a field, I'll be nominally surprised. Because I think a point comes where Arizona looks at the quarterbacks on this team and just goes, I know it's not you two. Arizona's going to finish with a really bad record because they did something horrible to the schedule makers that just gave them a murderer's row of a schedule.
Yeah.
Drew Aller and Cade Klubnik, I think, both have a chance to play at some point in 2026, but it would be late. Aller would have to get through Aaron Rodgers and Will Howard.
Will Howard, hammer down.
I don't have a ton of belief in him.
Oh, you're not a Will Howard fan?
No, I have a rule about guys that, and this kind of steers back into the NCAA thing that we started with. We've got to put rules on this. At some point, somebody has to jump up and go, I'm going to be the adult. Because we had over 50 guys in our draft class this year that were 25 or older.
Yeah.
I mean, Trey, you're not an old man, but you are above 25.
Oh, yeah, I'm 32. I wouldn't last in the NFL.
The difference between somebody at 25 years old and somebody at 19 years old is a lot of genetic development.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to evaluate these guys. On my daily show last week, we basically broke down how we would fix college football. To me, it's really not that complex. It's one word, starts with a C, contracts.
Yeah.
Contracts are the only way that we can go. And I think the Brandon Sorsby ruling today has confirmed that. Because now what has happened based on one court ruling is that the NCAA is no longer allowed to treat these guys as anything other than what they are, employees.
Yep.
That's what you are. You can fight the student-athlete fight all you want to. You lost it. Today was a definitive. You lost it. Because the federal government basically came in and said, I know how to legislate your employees better than you do. There are a lot of things that go into this. It could be antitrust designation, which is what the NCAA and Senators Ted Cruz and I don't remember the other guy's name are fighting for with a bill that's going before Congress. I don't know how quickly, but I hope today makes it quicker. Because if you don't have that, then none of the rest of this really matters. You're going to have an ability to treat these guys as employees.
Yep.
Trey, you've been in the radio business for a long time. You understand the complexity of a non-compete agreement.
Hey, I've heard of those. I had to sign one of those. I remember that.
I have, to this day, never signed one of those. I've had 4 put in front of me, and I just look at them and go, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, you can keep handing it to me. I'm going to keep signing it. And if that's a deal breaker, then it looks like our deal is broken. It's not something I'm a fan of. I don't like that that's where I don't like that that's where we are. But it is.
Yeah.
We said this in 2020 when all of these things came down. That the Supreme Court gave all of college athletics. It wasn't an inch. I would say it was closer to 6 feet. And now they've taken 16 miles. To the point of I don't think the NCAA can legislate its own body anymore. I am of the belief that the Big Ten and the SEC should be trying to split away. I think those conversations are happening. I think they're active. And I think they're going to lead to resolution because the thing I haven't been able to get over all day long is if I'm Ohio State, what am I thinking right now? If I'm looking at an institution in Texas Tech that does not have better facilities than me, they don't have a better conference to play in than me,
mm-hmm.
They don't have a better history than me, they have nothing better than me except one thing, a bank balance. Their bank balance is incredibly impressive. And if I'm Ohio State or I'm one of these other power brokers that has a good amount of money, but I don't have falafel you money,
right?
Which is what Texas Tech has. That's what Oregon has. That's what Tennessee has. There are a lot of just look for teams that have huge power broker boosters. If I don't have that, then today was a signal that it's time to get out while the getting's good. Because my history's not going to save me. Nothing's going to save me because eventually money wins out. It is an indelible, undeniable fact. The hardest thing in the world to beat is money and time. Time's impossible to beat. Money's virtually impossible to beat.
Yep.
And right now, none of these things are on the side of the Ohio State, the Michigan, the Alabama. I could give you a handful more of these, but they don't have insane money. The money's good. I can put a competitive roster out there. We're such prestigious universities that I can have the elitist of the elite. I think Ohio State's the best team in the country. I believe the second week of the season when Ohio State and Texas play each other, that's the two best teams in the country facing off against one another. And arguably the top two picks in next year's draft in Julian Say and Arch Manning. But I do have to look around and go, the money is passing me. Because Texas Tech has long been a good, not great institution outside of a couple years with Mike Leach. But now one thing has happened that I don't think anybody could have seen coming. Nobody's thrown a stop sign. Over the course of 5 years, not one person has ever gone, enough is enough. We cannot keep doing this. I think today, if there's any chance of it ever happening, it's based on today. We can't enforce the most basic, simplistic rule that every single sport has. Our governing body is dead. We have to change something, and we have to do it right now. The problem with college sports is that you can't lock out the players.
Right.
If this was Major League Baseball, we would be headed for a lockout. Because the power brokers in the sport and the players would be at odds at what you can make and how you can make it. But we can't do that. So my question is what has to be the impetus for a maneuver like this? The bill in Congress is all well and good. It's a start, but it doesn't do what it actually has to do. Who has to stand up and stomp their feet and say this is non-sustainable? Because where we are, and I've been told this by two separate people around college football in the last 4 hours, where we are in college football is money buys you every single thing. There is nothing that money can't get you. And if you don't have it, you don't have a chance. We'll give you a spot like JMU. We'll give you a spot like Tulane. And you'll go in there and get absolutely massacred in the playoffs.
Yep.
Because the division between the best players and that second tier has never been greater. If you look around college football right now, and I did this earlier today, and it caught me off guard. I went to the 2027 top 300 ranking. And you know what I noticed really quickly? It wasn't who I saw. It was who I didn't see. I didn't see Florida State anywhere. I didn't see Florida State anywhere.
Interesting.
I didn't see as much USC as I expected.
Yeah.
They were there. They had a guy in the top, I want to say 20. They had another one in the top 50. Then there was a drop-off, and I didn't see them for a while. I didn't see Nebraska. I didn't see a lot of these schools that have been good for an extended period of time. And it's for one very simple reason. They don't have the money to contend with a Texas Tech. And I'll tell you another problem that I haven't heard anybody bring up yet, but I think this conversation is going to be had pretty quickly. What do you know about the University of Miami?
What do I know about the University of Miami?
There's one specific word about Miami that I'm looking for that you want to talk about putting you on an uneven playing field.
Yeah.
This is number one, and nobody ever talks about it. What kind of school is Miami?
ACC, right?
It is an ACC school. I set you up for failure here.
Okay,
I didn't lead you down the rabbit hole all that well.
It's fine.
It's a private research school.
Oh, okay, yeah, private research. I knew that.
Do you know what that means?
Nope. They do the private research.
If that is bang up analysis.
Hey,
from @Trey Falco. So what a private research school is, and there's not a ton of these in the country. There are a ton of private schools. There are a ton of research schools. There are not a ton of them that are both.
Okay.
There is absolutely no oversight on where money goes.
Oh, okay.
Miami is self-funded. That's what private means.
Yeah.
You don't take money from the state to subsidize yourself. All these other schools do. And I'll go ahead and tell you, this is where this is going to become a problem. Is that you're going to get some rogue senator, and it's not tied into the thing we're doing right now.
Yeah.
They're going to get a budget from a state school, and I'll go ahead and tell you, it's going to be one that rhymes with LSU. Because that's the one that I'm looking at going, hey, none of the things you're doing make any sense, and I've seen your budget. It makes even less sense. Miami doesn't have to justify where their money comes from or what they spend it on. You know what logo I saw a lot in the top 100?
Oh, would it be one Miami?
It'd be Miami. They have 7 top 100 players already committed, and
wow.
they're the odds-on favorite for 3 more. Because I don't have to justify to you where the money goes. See, this is the problem, because people have asked me this week, ever since I went on my diatribe last week, why is this the problem of the federal government? It's very simple.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use one that doesn't have a whole lot of competitive balance issues, but it's the one that I just did, so I know the numbers quite well. Deion Sanders, he's been great for Colorado, right?
Yeah, I would argue that, yeah.
Yeah, they're making more money than they've ever made before.
Yeah.
Everything's hunky-dunky. They're getting players they've never gotten before. The results are still what they've been in the past. -1 9-3 Alamo Bowl winning season. Or actually, they didn't even win it. They almost won it. They had 1 9-win season. They've won 3 games and 4 games in the other 2. You want me to tell you a funny story about Colorado?
Sure.
The 3 years that Deion Sanders has been there, it's the only 3 times they've had to use student fees to cover their deficit. Because the problem is not the players they're getting. It's not the result. It's all of those things tied into their spending 3 times more money than they've ever spent before.
Yeah.
So the University of Colorado, which is not a private institution, is having to pull money from student fees, which is what is usually used to build sidewalks and classrooms and pay professors and things like that. They're taking that out to pay the deficit of the athletic department.
Wow.
Maybe you see how that's a problem.
That's a big problem, yeah.
As a school that takes funds, but it's not those funds. These are directly from student fees. Oh, okay. Do you take money from the federal government? Yes. Did you have to pay to bail out Colorado's athletic program? Yes. Those 2 things can't live in the same universe. Because eventually somebody with the government's going to go, I don't like this. And you're going to start seeing schools like Colorado and Cal Berkeley and Stanford and a handful of others that basically just get picked off because they don't have access to funds to even keep the program afloat. I can't even afford to pay a staff because they're not going to give me enough money to do that. That's how far this can go. That's why people like me are absolutely stuck on Brandon Sorsby today. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and if it's not treated correctly, it could be the end of college football as we know it. He's Trey Falco. I'm Jeremy Greene. This is 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate. You're in overtime. Brought to you by Ingles Markets. Everybody eats, and you should too. Whether it's gas in your tank, 4x fuel points this Friday. For every $1 you spend, you get 4 times the fuel points to fill up your car. Or the just everyday savings that they give you at Ingles Markets. Find them online, ingles-markets.com. Ingles Markets, low prices, love the savings. We'll be back here on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate after this commercial break.
DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states. That means you, South Carolina. The whole world is watching one tournament right now. Group stage chaos, knockout drama, stoppage time heartbreak. The DraftKings Sports app is now live in South Carolina, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late-night match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in South Carolina, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers, sign up with code 1049. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards. That's code 1049 in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable prediction dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28th. Terms at dkng.co/predictions promo.
I'm Michelle McPhee, and in my new podcast, Kingdom of Fraud, I'm unraveling the strangest criminal alliance I've ever reported on. A polygamist from Utah and an LA Armenian businessman.
$1 billion fraud.
But how long can this alliance last?
Is somebody coming after me?
Search Kingdom of Fraud on iHeartRadio, America's #1 podcast network, and the Webby Podcast Company of the Year.
Do you have a question about your home? Y'all call Wally.
Welcome to Y'all Call Wally with Waldrop Plumbing, Air, and Electric's Wally the Walrus. Let's go to our first caller. How can we help you, Steve?
Yeah, Wally, how do I know if my AC is making cold air like it used to?
Well, when you hold your hand in front of it, is it cold?
I mean, cold-ish.
Cold-ish is not what we're going for.
I'm no expert, but I think it used to feel colder than this. If it's gonna be stinking hot out, I need to know if my AC can keep up.
Then you should call us for a same-day inspection. Our technicians will do a thorough assessment with professional tools and gauges. But the average homeowner is surprisingly good at feeling that something isn't right.
Not that you're an average homeowner there, Steve. As a regular listener, I'm sure you're definitely above average.
No offense taken, Dan. My wife and I actually have 2.3 children, so...
Join us again next time, folks, on
YallCallWally.com.
Everyone sees me as a football player, but before anything else, I'm human. I'm Javier El Chicharito Hernandez, and every single day I'm still learning how to live with problems, mistakes, ever since I was born. This isn't a normal podcast. Everything here is spontaneous, real, and genuine. Just honest conversations about what it means to be alive. I'm Javier El Chicharito Hernandez, and this is Learning to Be Human. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Learning to Be Human, and listen now.
You're back in overtime. 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate. I'm at the NFL Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene. He is Trey Falco. Just a reminder, my new podcast with Logan Paulson starts in just a week. Saturdays become Sundays. A year-round NFL Draft podcast. If that's not for the nerdiest of all of you, I have no idea what is. We're super excited about this. Logan, one of my best friends in the business, also one of the most unbelievably smart film guys in all of sports. And I would say that across any sport. I love just sitting around talking to this guy. We will be breaking down. We're going to start with quarterbacks. We're going to go through the summer scouting process.
Nice.
You'll be able to tie that into our daily show. We'll do a little of that on that show. We'll do a little bit of it here. Just talking about things that are coming up in college, things to watch. We'll give you some weekly viewing guides because we're getting close. We're getting close. We're less than 100 days. The Hall of Fame game is less than 2 months away.
Got a caller.
And I'm very excited about it. You can get involved. Hit us on the call-in line, 864-240-5480. And I believe someone has done that. Caller, who is this?
Hey, Jeremy. Good evening. This is Rocky calling.
Hey, Rocky. How are you, my friend?
Well, I just got off work. I got in my truck, and I was listening to you and kind of trying to see what has been happening. So am I to understand that a judge ruled on the in favor of the injunction for Sorsby, so therefore he is eligible to play football?
That is correct.
Holy moly. You know what, Jeremy? I'm going to tell you something, and I understand where you're going. I'm going to tell you, it's all going to hit the fan a lot sooner than later.
I would agree. I think this is, and this is, it's almost like a civics lesson playing out in front of us with sports. When there is no penalty for breaking the rules, then what is the incentive to follow them?
Well, and you talk about that. If the governing body of whatever the entity is cannot enforce their own rules, what the hell is it? They can't. It's nothing. It's Okay,
so
let's get 22 guys together out in the front yard and let's go play tackle football and just, you know what? We don't have any rules. You can do whatever you want to do.
So, Rocky, it's
half
ironic
people go to the hospital.
It's ironic that you said that way. So when the original Supreme Court ruling came down about NIL and name, image, and likeness and all those things, I have had friends over the years, I still have friends over the years, that are in the legal side of sports. Most of them are agents. One of them is a great friend of mine. He was the first person I heard for when the NIL thing came down. And he told me one thing point blank, and I have hammered this point since the day it came down. If the NCAA does not sustain themselves as a legit governing body, they will become a joke in no time. And that's where we are.
If they have already been one, or haven't already won, for that matter.
The NCAA spent a lot of years basically policing something that nobody cared about. And that's where they really overplayed their hand. Nobody ever had a qualm with guys making money. They had qualms with guys making money from the school. If Coke wants to pay a guy $1 million to play football at Ohio State, I couldn't care less if I tried, because that has nothing to do with how he selects where he goes, unless that entity is tied into the school, the way Nike is with Oregon. That was the only qualm, and that only affected a handful of schools. And the funny thing is, it hasn't actually gone that way. Under Armour has done nothing for Maryland.
You know, and you remember, and Trey, you probably get back in the day, you got to go back when the NCAA, they might have had a little, they'd come down and might be a ruling on this school or that school for violations, whether they, all that kind of stuff. And, about 4 years later, they get the penalty. And you're like, what was that from? You remember that? I mean, it'd take them forever and a day to come down, on infractions, whether we're going to do scholarships or, all that crap.
Well,
it'd take them forever to make a decision.
You had Jerry Tarkanian. I never can remember the schools he said this about, but it was USC breaks a rule and Fresno State goes on probation.
I just, when I got in and the more you were talking, I said, that kid's going to play this fall. Don't mind it. So I kind of figured that, but I wanted to get the confirmation from you. But, it's going to be interesting what comes down the road, down the pipe here with college sports, not just football, but everything. And, with the portal and the name, image, and likeness. And you talk about Texas Tech money, certain schools, while they may not have that history like Ohio State or Georgia or Alabama or Michigan or all the like that, you got this school in the Big 12, and all they got to do is flash your checkbook.
And sadly enough, that's where we're at, is that you've got schools that are basically buying their prestige, and I hate to use this in college football, video game terms, but that's kind of where we're at, is these schools are buying themselves into the upper tier. And I'll be honest with you, it's always been a haves and have-nots. You just had schools like Oklahoma State, which, by the way, mark my words, Oklahoma State is going to be markedly improved 2 years from now. Their checkbook is now playing into more than just facilities. It's actually playing into competitive balance. And this is where contracts have to be a thing. You have to be able to enforce. I do agree
with you on that, contract. And you mentioned, I knew what you were talking about when you were talking to Trey, and you went, what is the one word? And I said it to the radio to you when you were talking about Miami. You said, what's the one word that Miami has or whatever? And the first thing that came out of my mouth was private.
And it's funny that that one's resonated with a lot of the lawyers around the NCAA, is that's one that nobody ever talks about, is that's a whole nother level of this that is going to be, it's going to have to be legislated out, because there's nothing that changes a private school to a public school. Those rules are what they are. You know, a private school's never going to have to report where their income comes from unless the NCAA makes it that way.
They don't have to tell you how much the coaches make. They don't have to tell you how much nothing. I mean, Vanderbilt's the same way. Vanderbilt, I mean, but Vanderbilt's not on the level of Miami, but it's still it's a private institution.
And if you look at the private schools in FBS college football, if you look at the private schools, it's really hard to find one that's not on the upswing. Almost all of them are getting better. Vanderbilt just got one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and he made it very clear. There were 2 reasons why. I like Nashville, and I like the money.
Yeah.
I have no problem with
Vanderbilt doesn't have to tell you where that money's coming from either.
Nope. It can come from the medical center. It can come from private donors. It can come from anywhere. And that is a non-sustainable model. As long as that's the case, we're going to continue to have things like this, because the NCAA's weakness is what allows a judge to come in here and say, well, you never actually forced a rule on this, and we've had things that have happened, and I don't have case law, so I'm just going to blindly say this is what I think. It's always scary when you leave it ambiguous to a judge.
Absolutely. And depending upon where the judge is and so on and so forth, there are too many things that come into play when you start dealing with government and judges and court systems and stuff like that.
This has been the great dichotomy for me, is that I live by a simple philosophy that came from Ronald Reagan. The 9 scariest words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. The only thing that can save the NCAA right now is help from the government.
Oh, shoot.
Yep. That's the thing that scares me, because that's who has to give them antitrust exemption.
That's scary whenever, my favorite man, Ronald Reagan, the best government is a quiet government. And that kind of thing. But
good fences make good neighbors. I could do this all afternoon, but we do have to take a commercial break. Rocky, my friend, always good to hear from you.
I appreciate it, Jeremy. Sorry to be so long. I enjoy talking to you.
You're always good, my friend.
Take care.
Thank you, Rocky. You as well. Always good to hear from you. It's closing time. It's last call for phone calls, texts, YouTubes, anything like that. Hit us on the call-in line, 864-240-5480. That's 864-240-5480. Or with a text at 864-777-9593. We have a couple of those on the other side. We also have closing time. He's Trey Falco. I'm Jeremy Greene, 104.9 FM, Fox Sports Upstate.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
You got Antonio on the text line when you come back.
Yes, sir.
And then potentially another caller. Somebody's trying to call in there with Rocky on, so we might have another caller.
10-4.
All right.
Now, the home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like,
I'm going to tell you the stupidest thing I learned this week.
If you want.
Okay, I'm ready.
Green beans are keto.
Huh?
I've never been so excited by a piece of information in my entire life.
Oh, you a big green bean guy?
I love green beans.
Hey, there we go. I don't. But I'm happy for you.
You don't like it? Oh, God, I love green beans.
I eat like a 3-year-old.
In fairness, so do I. I love pizza. I would do some unspeakable things for a big slice of New York pizza right now.
Oh, I know that's right.
So beans are like one of the worst things you can have on keto because they're so unbelievably starchy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I thought it was all beans, so I was like, nope, can't have green beans. Just didn't do it. There's a restaurant up here called Rocky's Hot Chicken Shack.
That sounds really good.
It is outrageously good. and they give you a portion that I believe is meant for a 500-pound man.
Okay.
So I was dedicated yesterday. I'm not leaving the house. I don't care. I don't care if I don't eat at all. If somebody won't bring me food, I just won't eat. I don't care.
Hey, I understand that.
So I had a 40% off on Uber Eats.
Nice.
I ordered 2 giant salads, and their salads weigh about 4 pounds.
Good Lord.
I put it in a to-go container.
Yeah.
You have to open the lid carefully or the bacon will fall out. That's how much stuff is in the salad. I ordered that, and I ordered a big grilled tender plate with double green beans and a coleslaw.
Uh-huh.
That's going to be Fat Boy's dinner here in 22 minutes.
Hey, count down the time?
Uh-huh. Because I just
21:40 if you're really keeping track.
I just remembered it right before we threw to that break of, oh, my God, I forgot. I forgot about it. I'm so excited.
We got a caller on the line, too.
10-4. Workman said there is a Rockies in Greenville as well, which is a really good piece of information.
Oh, is there? Okay. I'm going to have to try it out.
Dude, it's so good. The only thing I'll warn you of, do you like spicy food?
I like spicy food, yeah.
Uh-huh. So you're going to think order hot.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Don't do that.
Okay.
It's the only food that's ever made me have to take a nap. It was so spicy.
It's like Thai, right?
It's like it used to be hotter. They had to tamper it down because they made so many people sick.
Really?
Oh my God, dude! They used to have one called Mount St. Hell No. That was
okay. All right, I like it.
It would melt your face off.
Yeah, I don't know that I like it that hot.
Their honey medium is perfect.
All right, we're back in 3.
10-4.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
It is closing time here in overtime. He's Trey Falco. I'm at the NFL Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene. Brought to you, as always, by our friends at Ingles Supermarkets. Find them online at ingles-markets.com. Ingles Markets, low prices, love the savings. We got a handful of text messages to get to. The first one's from Antonio, who said SMU got the death penalty for something that is now legal. That's 100% true. If you've ever seen the movie Pony Express, which basically is one of the most nefarious sports movies you'll ever see in your life, because you just can't believe that any school would be so brazen to break the rules. It was Eric Dickerson, Craig James. There were a lot of players on that SMU.
Yeah.
And as you watch I grew up in the late 80s, and I'm a 90s kid. So SMU had already, the death penalty had already happened. SMU was irrelevant for basically my entire life. By the way, watch for SMU because they're another school that you're looking at going, they got Dallas money behind them. That could get fun in a hurry, especially now being in the ACC. They were basically banished off the planet for 25 years for less than what happened today. I want you to think about that for a minute. That program was banished for a quarter of a decade. They still allowed them to play. They didn't play for a full season, and when they came back, they were dead because every player had been granted their unconditional release, and so long as they were still eligible and had not taken money, they could go anywhere in the country. They pieced that team together with 0-star recruits that didn't have offers anywhere else because the NCAA had buried them underneath in the deepest hole they could dig. Now everything they did is completely legal. And the craziest part about that is now it's not only legal, there's still no regulation around it whatsoever. There's no cap to what you can offer a guy. That happened to Florida. They offered a kid money. Money wasn't there. Because it works both ways.
Right.
The money wasn't there. His name was Jaden Rashada. He's bounced around college football for years. Now he's at Sacramento State, I think. Actually, he may have transferred again. He was on his 5th school the last time I looked.
Oh, wow.
There's no protection for the kid. There's no protection for the school. And that just can't live. It can't live this way forever. Coach Vic Shelton, our buddy, sent in a text, said, Jeremy, 2 things. 1, Tark said the NCAA is so mad at Kentucky that they put Cleveland State on probation. There it is. That was the one I was looking for. It's a great line. Former UNLV, Fresno State, San Antonio Spurs head coach Jerry Tarkanian. And he was right. That was the way we used to do things. Is that we knew there was cheating in college sports. We knew it. You couldn't prove it. Now we can prove it. You just can't do anything about it. And his second question is, how creative will the power schools get in creating and sustaining new money? That's a great question. I have seen a lot of things in the last 5 years. I'm going to give you an example from the school that I attended. I went to West Virginia University. They are in the College Baseball World Series, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. West Virginia has been terrible at baseball for basically my entire life. Is it strange to you that all of a sudden they're good at it? If you look around the field of teams that were threatening, whether it's St. John's, Kansas, West Virginia, it's a bunch of schools that have never been great at baseball, and then all of a sudden they are. Why? Because they're making money from somewhere. And they're investing the money slightly into baseball because it doesn't take a ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
To be competitive in baseball. What I have discovered is that some of these schools are using the non-revenue generators, which is basically everything but football and basketball. They're using the ones that were close. Baseball, handful of others. To make just a little bit of money, just to keep that negative off the balance sheet. Now, how creative they're going to get, that could go deep. I don't know if you have noticed this trend, but at this point, we have a deal with Fanatics. So Fanatics, they're very generous to us, and we appreciate them greatly. At this point, there are colleges that have bigger merch stores than NFL teams do.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL's been the king of merchandise forever because they all have deals because they have a deal with Nike, and Nike just absolutely churns out product. I don't know how creative they will get. Right now, it's basically every FBS school has turned into a politician. They're holding fundraisers. They're having $500 dinners.
Yeah.
Just to raise funds. The owner of the Cleveland Browns just gave $130-some-odd million to the University of Tennessee because there's no limit on what somebody can give as a gift. That part's going to have to change. I think all of this has to change. Or college sports as we know it are not going to exist anymore. And I'm not sure that we haven't gone too far into that. I said years ago, you should really not throw this amateurism thing. You shouldn't throw that baby out with the bathwater. Because once the bathwater's gone, it's really hard to get back in the tub. Our buddy JB chiming in on the text line said, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on the Bears in Indiana? Thanks, JB. JB, we appreciate you. We appreciate Vic and Antonio as well. The Bears in Indiana to me is a very, I'm going to say it's a simple issue with a very complex solution. So for those of you that don't know, the Chicago Bears have been bouncing back and forth with the state of Illinois, the state of Indiana, of where they're going to put their next football stadium. Soldier Field is very old, and it's basically beyond renovation. They need new bones.
Yeah.
They have a site in Chicago. There are a lot of things that go into that I won't bore you with, but there is a site in Chicago that they could go to. They have just disagreed a lot with the legislature on what would go into that. Where would the money come from? Do you have to pay the money up front, or can it come from ticket sales? Can it come from, a 30-year no-interest loan from the city? There's a lot of things that go into that. They also have a site in Hammond, Indiana, which is about 50 miles outside of Chicago. That would change a lot for the Chicago Bears, because what happens when you put these stadiums so far away from the epicenter of the team, you get into what we ran into at the Super Bowl last year. I was invited to cover the Super Bowl. I didn't go. And there was one very simple reason why. Radio Row was 2.5 hours from the stadium.
What?
So the stadium in Santa Clara is 57 miles from the city of San Francisco. It takes quite a ways to get out there. You add in traffic and it becomes an absolute nightmare. San Francisco has weather that Chicago doesn't.
Right.
So Santa Clara raises money by having concerts and all kinds of things that are out there that they kind of tie a lot of that area together, because there's a lot of people around San Francisco, Santa Clara, that area. For comparison, there are more people within 50 miles, 25 in each direction. So basically a 50-mile radius. There are more people in that 50-mile radius than there is in the 100-mile radius between Chicago and Hammond.
Right.
And that's 50 miles on both sides of Hammond. So all the way back to Chicago and all the way to the other side.
You still got a caller on hold.
It's a ridiculous number of people. Chicago doesn't have that. So I don't like it. I want stadiums to be close to cities, and that's coming from a Jets fan, and they've been the New Jersey Jets forever. We have a very patient caller on hold. Caller, who is this? Caller, who is this? We may not have a very patient caller.
Never mind.
I believe he was patient. But me being a big moron, I forgot that Trey said, hey, there's somebody on hold. That's on me. I will take the blame for that. That is no one's fault but my own. So, caller, if you'd like to call us back, call us back. We got a few more minutes left here in overtime. Call-in line's 864-240-5480. Text-in line 864-777-9593. Yeah, that Indiana-Chicago thing is very interesting to me. Solely because there are so many of these cities where land value is so high that you can't afford to put a stadium inside the city. So, I mean, what do you do about that? Do you try to make your team the team of the geographic area, which it largely already is?
Yeah.
But then you get into problems there in the Midwest where you have so many teams in a short vicinity that if you go too far outside of Chicago, it doesn't take all that far before you start getting into other teams.
Right, like Indianapolis.
Correct. So I don't like it. I think this is one of those times, and I hate to hearken back to what we talked to Rocky about, but this is one of those times that the government's gotten involved, and per usual, the government involvement scares me to death. Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight, Madison Square Garden. I am not a huge NBA guy at this point. These games have not been – they haven't been terrible. I feel like the NBA playoffs has had a lot of blowouts. But we are early in quarter one. San Antonio Spurs out to a nice lead to start, 14-6. Madison Square Garden, I've got it up on the screen in my office right now. Madison Square Garden is packed.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I grew up a Knicks fan. I long said one of these days they're going to win a title, and I'm going to be sad that I tapped out on this, but it's just hard to support Jimmy Dolan. Story came down this week that he never lifted the banishment on Charles Oakley, one of the great players in the history of the New York Knicks. That was actually why I stopped pulling for the New York Knicks. So I do watch this with a little bit of pride, but I don't watch it with the same love that I would have had many years ago. I will say, we are a football show. I am a football guy. That is really where my know-how comes in. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the other sports. I'm a passive fan. I'm a passive fan to the NBA. I'm a passive fan to college baseball. I'm a passive fan to the Stanley Cup. But I will say, over the last couple weeks, between the College World Series, the Stanley Cup Finals, which I think have been absolutely phenomenal, and the NBA Finals, there's a lot out there to consume. Is it waiting for football season? Absolutely, because that's the two seasons we have. There's football season, waiting for football season. But I feel like all of these other sports have had whether it was by their own doing or by, I'll say, some awfully ironic luck in the case of the NBA.
Right.
You've had a lot of good product.
Yeah, it's been a good offseason.
It's been a lot of good product. I think the college baseball's been incredible. Yes, I am biased that my alma mater is in the College World Series.
Yeah, that always helps.
Ever. Let's go Mountaineers. Can't say any of the other things we chant in stadiums because, well, they're real vulgar and they're about Pittsburgh. University, not necessarily the city. Enjoy the city to a point. But I implore you, if you're a football guy like me, and football's all you care about, and you get into these dead periods, check out the hockey, check out the college baseball, check out the basketball. Just enjoy it. Because when it's done, we get into a very bleak period of things to watch. We do have a caller on the line. Caller, who's this?
Hey, it's Roger and Anderson.
Hey, Roger, how are you? We got about 2 minutes, my friend.
No problem. I can run a hurry-up offense.
I like it.
Well, they just this case with the quarterback with the ruling today that's ringing a dinner bell for an already huge problem. I've been saying it for years. We haven't even seen the worst scandals yet. They're coming. People don't realize not all these NIL kids are making big money. It would not take a quarterback to rig a game or to alter an over-under or point total, or they bet on everything now. You could have a center who's making $25,000 a year, a bad snap, a defensive back takes an air quote. A defensive back could take an air quote misstep, leaving a wide receiver wide open and make some money on the game. We haven't even seen the worst of this is coming, but they rang a dinner bell today.
Roger, I would agree. I think today was the one that we're going to look back on down the line and go, this is the day that a circuit court judge who is so far out of the lexicon of college sports
30 seconds.
Basically threw a wrench that the NCAA had ignored for years. And unfortunately, I like being right, and I often say I like being right more than I like being alive. This is one of those times. I wish I hadn't been right, but I was. Roger, I appreciate you, my friend. We will see you next week right back here. Overtime on Fox Sports Upstate, brought to you by Ingles Markets. We'll see you next Monday at 7 p.m. right here on 104.9 FM, Fox Sports Upstate.
Hi, I'm Jack Nicklaus. Golf was my game for decades, but now I'm focused on a new challenge, my heart game. I live with a rare progressive heart condition called ATTR-CM or transthyretin cardiac.
I give you a little bit of leeway.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I actually screwed up at one point and said the call letters because I was at 9 and I had 1049 in my head and went, oh, did I say that or not? I don't remember.
That's fine.
Oh, boy.
All right, that's set to export.
You